God doesn't only want you to start, he wants you to finish. And I'm going to show you how to finish more of the things in life so you can have more success in life in today's video. So we're going to start with a drawing. I'm going to draw something which I think will be very beneficial to you and help you understand this concept. And I'm going to talk about 2 verses that I was reading today in my daily devotion, which will be very beneficial. So before I continue, I make videos on this channel, as I like to say, to help Christians like you win with the word, because the word can help you win in all different areas of your life if you actually use it. So I've got a video on the channel talking about this particular passage before, but I want to talk about it again today because it's so powerful and it helps me when it comes to completing tasks, which I know will help me and my family and those I'm connected with more and more as time goes on. So a lot of people, the problem that they have is they don't ever start, right? If you think about this as like the starting line, right? This is the starting line. Most people never start. And because they don't ever start, they don't ever get to the destination that they want to get to. So this is here, the finish line, right? And at the finish line, what you're going to have is whatever you want, right? This is, you want to think about like a star or whatever, right? There's something at the end. It can be money. You want a certain amount of money every single month. You want to make a certain amount of money every single year. I've talked about recently in recent videos, I just finished a 90-day exercise program, which has got me in the best shape of my life, right? It wasn't day 90 on day 1, right? But I did start, which is obviously beneficial. And I was able to close this gap, right? So really what I want to talk about today in today's video is how you make it from here and you are able to get over to make it to your finish line. Because again, if you manage to start, which is what a lot of people don't do, you actually want to finish as well, right? Because at the end, at the finish line is the thing which will actually, the thing you want. So what I want to read, right? I was reading today, part of my daily devotion was in 1 Kings chapter 6. I read chapter 6 and I went on to read chapter 7 as well. And it's a powerful like example of something which happens in the Bible, which again is very beneficial to like illustrate all of this stuff we're talking about here. So I'm going to read verse 1. And then at the end, I'm going to read the last chapter, in the last verse in the chapter, because it kind of like ties the bow. It's like we go full circle. So it says in verse 1, and it came to pass in the 400th, 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 1, and it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, right, the Exodus, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign, King Solomon, that is the son of David, the 4th year of King Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month Ziph, which is the 2nd month. So just to keep it simple, imagine if it was like February today, that he began to build the house of the Lord. Now, the reason why this is so significant is because it was the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign. And Solomon, King Solomon at that particular point in time, he wanted to make a glorious building, right? He wanted to make a glorious building which had the temple and it had all of this different stuff all around it and within it, etc. Cool, right? He wanted to do this. He started to build this temple. Now, again, it's so important that we start. This is why I'm always going to encourage you as a believer. You need to start. God has empowered you. He's prepared you. He's going to prosper you, but that's never going to come in the things that you desire to do to glorify him. It's never going to happen if you don't start. This is why starting is so important, because as you start and continue, you're going to get momentum. Now, what happens is for a lot of people is this part here in the middle, right, where we have got the dotted lines. This is what for many people is the drop. They start walking. Right, let's say, for example, you have someone and they're walking across, they stop. And when they stop, it's basically like you dropping down. And if you drop down, you're never going to get over to the other side. So one of the things you have to do if you want to continue, I've spoken about this in a recent video before where I talked about what I call the 2 mountains. I'll leave that linked in the description box below because it will help you. It will show you the difference between people like King Solomon, as we're going to hear about, who make it over to this side, and the people that either don't start or they walk a certain amount of steps, they walk a certain amount of the journey and then drop down, right? The 2 mountains. Now, one of the things you need to do, you need to become habitual at doing, this is what I do, and I continue to do this more and more all of the time, is you have to stay focused on this right here. You have to stay focused. You have to keep your eyes, right, on the prize, as they say. If you keep your eyes focused on the destination more and more, it will help you continue to get these sorts of results. What most people do is, when it comes to a task or it comes to something they want to do, they have their mind focused on down here. They'll focus here. They focus down here. Oh, what's going to happen if I don't do it, if it doesn't work out, blah, 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 blah. And they also focus on this stuff right here, right? I'm not good enough to start, etc., blah, blah, blah. What people who want to be successful in life, right, especially us as Christians, have to become familiar with doing is focusing on the destination. So when you read through a passage like Hebrews 11, you see that it says this thing over and over again: by faith, by faith, by faith. And what they had faith in is what they could see down the road, right? They had their eyes focused on something down the road. They've had their eyes focused on the destination. It's the same thing that we need to do, especially in those moments where we feel like quitting. The moments where we feel like, well, I don't know what, like I've started my YouTube channel. I'm creating videos, but not as many people as I want to like watch are watching, right? When you sell your first digital product and you're like, well, who's going to buy it? How am I going to get people to buy it? Is anyone going to buy it? Blah, 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 etc. When all of these things are happening, you know that you're supposed to do them. If you continue to focus on those things, if you continue to focus on those negative things, it's like focusing on all of this stuff. Like you're focusing here, you're focusing here, you're focusing down here, instead of focusing on the one thing which matters. The most significant thing for you to be focusing on is this. And this is why this is so significant, because if God has told you to do something, if God has empowered you to do something, all you should be focusing on at that point, and all you should be preparing yourself to focus on more and more at that point, is how can I have more faith in what God has said to me? All right? So when I do the things, when I teach the Bible and show people how to win with the word in all the different contexts that I'm supposed to be doing it. Today, for example, we're just talking about like life, right? And more so within life, I talk a lot about like business, right? An online business. But I'm specifically teaching here about how to win with the word. I just do it. And I focus more and more on like, okay, if this is what God wants you to do, Israel, just do it more and more and let people see the gifts that you have. Bless people with the gifts that God has actually given you. That's what I focus on more and more and more. So when, for example, you post a video and it doesn't get 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 views, it's not going to dishearten you to the point where you stop or you don't give your best in it. Because at the end of the day, we have to be giving our best because we're doing what we're doing for God. So when you get to the end of the chapter, it says something which is powerful. And a lot of people don't realize like this is a key to make something like this reality. So at the end of chapter 6, after telling us it was the 4th year of Solomon's reign and it was the 2nd month, he began to build the house of the Lord. In verse 38, it says this. It says, and in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, so like our August today, for example, was the house finished throughout, all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it. So was he, it says, 7 years in building it. So it took Solomon 7 years to complete his greatest work, right? It took him 7 years to build the house of God, right? The glorious house of God, which you can read about all the way throughout the Old Testament. The glorious house of God took Solomon 7 years. You see, we live in a world today where the enemy wants us to think about the destination and think it's going to take 1 second, right? Why? Because we live today in what I like to call the microwave miracle generation. And we live in a day and age where we've been so blessed in so many different areas. We are used to having things come rapidly, things coming quickly. We pick up our phone and we can order food to come to our doorsteps within minutes. We can put food, some people put food in a microwave, and it heats up their food in seconds. You can order something online and it can be with you. We used to be gas when it was the next day. People don't even like it anymore when you don't get same day delivery anymore. The point is, the things which matter in life, we think it's always going to be the same way. But imagine, one of the greatest things which Solomon ever did, arguably the greatest thing he ever did, took him 7 years to do. So if you think back to yourself, right, something you want right now, you started a business, you're thinking about launching your first digital product or whatever it is, it hasn't been 7 years. Have you consistently for 7 years been chopping away day after day after day at this one target? Most likely not. And my point is, right, I want you to think about this today. You want something in life. You want more money, you want better health, you want a better business, you want more time with your family, you want to work less hours in a 9 to 5, you want to achieve the goal, you want to achieve success in some area in life. And I'm saying to you, just like Solomon did in 1 Kings chapter 6, he started. That was essential. You need to start. He also continued. There must have obviously been difficult times when he's building this magnificent building, right? This magnificent structure, because it wasn't just a building anyway. And eventually, 7 years later, he got to the end. I'm not saying it's going to take you 7 years. It may take more than 7 years. It may take less than 7 years. But the point is, you start and you continue. And as you continue to focus on the prize, the thing which is at the end, which God is going to empower, prosper, and prepare you for as you continue to move through it. So hope this video was a blessing to you. If you like it, don't forget to like it. And obviously subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Go win and God bless.